Here's the situation. Your teammate has the ball on the perimeter, you're one pass away, you're being guarded tough, and you have to get open by yourself to get the ball. You can't score if you can't get open and get the ball. In other words, you may be a whiz one-on-one with the ball, but if the defense can keep you from receiving the ball, your skills with the ball won't do you any good. Now, if this chapter were only about the moves to get open, it would still be worth learning. But I want you to take things a step further. I want you to view getting open, receiving the ball, reading the defense, and attacking the score as parts of one continuous move made up of consecutive reads and reactions. The basic principle I want you to consider is that your move to get open could leave your defender out of position for a split second. And in that split second, you can take advantage to score. Getting open, receiving the ball, reading the defense, and attacking the score are so dependent upon each other that it's difficult to separate them. Even so, and in order to make it easier to learn, I've separated this chapter into two parts. First, the methods to get open and receive the ball, and second, the reads and moves to score.
Getting open and receiving the ball. Situation 1, very little space to get open.
The first situation is one where you have very little space to operate. This could occur anywhere on the floor, but in this example, you're on the wing, one pass away, with a teammate behind you, and the low post is occupied. In other words, you can't use the threat of a basket cut, nor can you start in the corner and break to the wing. Here's how to get open with only 3 steps.
Read number 1, the defender does not move.
Take your first step towards your defender and then read him. If your defender doesn't move, then your second step is across him to the outside. Your third step creates space away from the defender and should be coordinated with your target hand.
Read number 2, the defender moves to deny.
This time, as a response to your first step, your defender steps higher to deny the ball. React with a second step toward the basket, showing your teammate a target hand. Your third step cuts off the defender. You now have an outnumbering situation, 5 offensive players against 4 defenders.
Read number 3, the defender makes contact.
And finally, your defender might take your first step in his direction as a chance to make contact with you. If so, then spin and seal him with a reverse pivot. You now have the same outnumbering situation as before.
Situation 2, space to move, shorten the pass.
Shorter passes are safer passes. In this case, you're on the perimeter and far enough away that a cut toward the ball would significantly shorten the pass and yet still leave you with good offensive spacing. Let's look at the cuts and reads in 3 different situations: when you're outside the arc, on the arc, or inside the arc.
Outside the arc.
If you're starting your cut outside the 3-point line, stay outside the arc as you cut toward the ball. Now you can use the arc to simplify your read. If your defender remains behind the arc, then you're open. This is an easy passing read for your teammate as well. And let's face it, in these situations, you don't have the ball, and in order to get the ball, your teammate must decide that it's okay to pass you the ball. So you want to make that read as clear and clean as possible for your passing teammate. That's what this technique does. If your defender is behind or inside the arc, then you're open. It's that simple. Give eye contact and show target hands. On the other hand, if your defender steps on or over the 3-point line, then you're not open and you should basket cut. Look for that read in these clips.
The read. Over the arc. Over the arc.
Not only is this a clear and simple read for both you and your passing teammate, But you also have plenty of space between you and the goal to receive the ball, make a move on a help defender, and score. Now for some detail. Make your cut an explosive change of speed by planting your outside foot parallel to the arc and pushing off straight to the goal behind your defender. This recruits your glutes, your most explosive muscles.
On the arc.
Second, if you make your cut right along the three-point line, then you have two options. If your defender is below the line of your cut, with at most only a hand in the passing lane, then make a corner and cut out to safely receive the pass on the perimeter. Plant your inside foot and push off perpendicular to the line of your foot in order to recruit the most explosive muscles. If your defender intends to deny your outside cut, then he or she will be on your line to the ball. In other words, if the area from your defender's elbow to his head is in the passing lane, then we're cutting. That is, make your corner cut to the basket by planting and pushing off your outside foot.
Inside the arc.
Finally, if you make your cut inside the arc, then use the traditional V-cut. This takes your defender out of the area in which you want the ball. Then return with a change of speed and a change of angle. If you don't use a V-cut and simply fake the basket cut and return along the same path, your defender can recover along his same path of retreat. Now, the angle at which you return is an important part of the technique to get open, and this is where the cut gets its name. Take the defender away, and when you return, cut across your defender's path. The path of your fake and your cut to return forms the letter V. The angle of your return cuts off your defender's line of recovery. Contact with your defender can help to freeze him when you change directions, but be careful. It's very easy to push off with the inside arm and get called for a foul. Communicate with your passer. Along with establishing eye contact, show target hands as a signal for when and where to pass.
Situation 3, extreme denial, the hugger.
If your defender is a hugger, that is body to body with you, then use the spin and seal to get open. Start with your hands up for the official to see that you're not fouling. Walk him toward the middle, step your top leg between his, and spin and seal him on your backside and show a target hand to your passer.
Situation 4, if there is space behind you.
If you're being denied the ball and there's no chance for a basket cut, but there is space behind you, then use the lob to get the ball. Walk your defender toward the ball, to your shoulders, and hold up both of your arms as a signal to your passer and to show the officials your hands. The ball can be lobbed over the defender to the open area behind you. When the ball goes over your head or between your arms, release and get the ball.
Situation 5, starting from the low post.
If you're already in the low post area, then take the defender up the lane line toward the ball and then cut out. This is also a corner cut or a V cut, and again, use a change of speed when you change direction. A variation of this up and out cut is to add a spin before you cut out. The spin allows you to get the defender on your hip, hold the seal, show your target hand, and step out to receive the ball. Notice in this case that the outside foot becomes the pivot foot. Our player uses a reverse pivot to square up for attack.
After learning how to get open, receive, read, and attack.
Let's start the second half of this chapter by breaking a bad habit I see in lots of players. They get open, receive the ball, and then relax as if to celebrate that they've accomplished something. Even if your job is to simply get open, wait on a cutter, pass the ball, and run a certain play, it will be easier to do if you're prepared to attack the goal when you receive the ball. Have a scoring mindset that's always ready to take advantage of the defense. You see, The moves we just covered to get open not only serve the obvious purpose of getting the ball, but they also change the spacing, position, and angles of recovery for your defender. Defenders will make mistakes when they have to move and adjust their positions while you're getting open and receiving the ball. Your job is to read those mistakes and take advantage immediately in one motion. Otherwise, if you get open, receive the ball, but then hesitate as you square up to the goal, the defense will have time to adjust. Instead, get open, read, and attack all in one motion while you have the defense at a disadvantage.
Receive, read, and attack. 3 simple reads to score. Read number 1. The defender follows.
If he recovers along the angle of your cut, basically just following you, then catch and step by him all in the same motion. Don't hesitate, just keep going. This is quick, so be sure to time your first step and dribble together to avoid the traveling call.
Receive, read, and attack. Read number 2, overplay recovery.
Most of the time, the defender will recover in an overplay position. Usually, it's after they've tried to shoot the gap and deflect the ball. Now's your chance to make it really tough on the defense to change direction and recover. Take advantage of their overplay position by sweeping against the grain or direction of your cut. Use the ball to shift your momentum. Rip the ball hard, low to the ground, and under the defender's hands.
Sweep against the grain. Footwork.
If you catch the ball while stopping yourself with 2 feet, then sweep and cross step to complete your cut against the grain. But if you can change direction on 1 foot, then plant your outside foot, sweep and open step past your defender without letting the inside foot touch the ground. This is more difficult than stopping with 2 feet, but if you can do it, it's a little quicker.
Receive, read, and attack. Read number 3, body to body.
If your defender has overplayed you, but is so close to you that there's no space to sweep, then reverse pivot and attack.
Bonus section, thoughts on finishing.
I can't leave this chapter without pointing out how these moves to get open and attack will dovetail nicely into the variety of moves to finish that we covered in our previous video, one-on-one offense scoring from the perimeter. Specifically, chapters 5 and 6, scoring in the mid-range and finishing. This is simply a reminder that the parts of the game that we break down and teach at Better Basketball will eventually fit back together in a seamless offensive attack. Here are a few examples of combining the moves from this video with the moves from our previous video to fit the situation.
Example number 1, finishing.
V-cut to get open, sweep against the overplay, and if you don't beat your defender clean, meaning he's beside you and not behind you, then use your hop to create space for the mid-range pull-up. Perhaps the 10-foot bank, or perhaps the hop back is needed.
Example number 2, finishing.
V-cut to get open, sweep against his recovery, and if you beat the defense clean, then be prepared to beat a second defender. Sweep and immediately cross over if there's quick help.
Example number 3, finishing.
Same situation, but beat the late helping defender who's waiting in the lane. Sweep, cross over, and body shift off 2 feet to avoid the third defender.
Chapter 2, attacking from the weak side.